Good evening, everyone. How are we all doing tonight? Hope everyone is having a wonderful evening or a lovely start to their day. I will say off the bat, apologies for having to cancel on Thursday, but as you saw in my tweet, a lot of stuff has been going on with my grandfather recently. Hello, Steph. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. How have you been? But yes, I do apologize for having to cancel Thursday's stream, but don't worry. I've as of my last update, things have still been improving for my grandfather. He has recovered well from the stents being put in. He was due to be discharged this morning, but unfortunately he had a bit of trauma in his bladder from a catheter being put in, so he's going to be in for a few more days while they clear that up. But yes, apart from that, everything is going well. Glad your grandpa is recovering. Well, thank you, Steph. That's very kind of you. I will say I do appreciate all the love and prayers that you guys had for my grandfather following those announcements. So I really do appreciate that. You all are some of the sweetest people I could ever hope to meet. But yeah, with that, let us get into this. Let us get into the fun and frivolity of D&D Campaign Creation once again. Since last time, I have done a little bit of cleaning up. I have basically transferred the map onto Roll20 so that I could put these nice little labels of the empires / continents and all the town names and stuff that we came up with last time, just to make it easier, because let's be honest, doing it in the photo editor that Windows provides is garbage. So we're just gonna keep it all contained within here. I don't know if there's going to be an easy way to export this image later, but we'll figure that out when the time comes. But yes, for now, let's quickly pop on some tunes. Of course, those of you who are watching the VOD, feel free to put on your own music. I'm sure either way you have wonderful picks for that. But for now, let us put on something nice and chill for this lovely Sunday evening. But yes, so let's get into factions. Now, if I remember correctly, I had a few factions that I set up for my towns last time, and they had a very good structure that I used. I'd have to double check what those files used, but thankfully I have a backup so I can take a look. Because normally when I do like faction structures, I go straight to Tasha's Cauldron of everything, because the way they actually set up patrons and that is quite easy. Like these academy type structures and everything they lay out, very handy, very handy. Definitely worth picking up if you are planning to make your own factions from scratch in D&D. Definitely worth picking up that book. I mean, picking it up in general is just good too, because extra subclasses. Other ways to change up the like racial traits and all that, so that you're able to play more diverse options. Like, I genuinely like what Tasha's Cauldron of Everything added to creation for D&D. It's a fantastic design. So let me just grab my town notes from the other campaign that I'm working on. And we'll just quickly bring that structure across. Don't know how well the copy and paste is going to work for it, because it is a little awkward. But we'll just do this in a simple-ish manner. So we need, what's it called? I guess we'll just like make a separate section for factions. So we'll do. Boom. Let's get some factions going here. Factions. Yeah. And then we'll have subheadings for each of them. So first one, I guess we'll do maybe Fronard, because that's got like a lot of the religious stuff and it's like one of the smaller cities. So we'll start small and work to the bigger ones because let's be honest, Coronidri is going to have a lot. It's like the biggest city on the entire map. So let's. Oh no, I did not want to copy that. Oops. What is it? Astronim. Okay, so we'll set up a table. I think in my setup it was what? I think it was 5 by whatever you wanted. What is it? Yep, so it's 5. Yeah, so it's 5 columns and then as many rows as you want. So we'll set that up. God, how do you do tables in this? Oh, actually, that isn't too bad. Okay, so 5. It's a smallish town. We'll go 5 by 4. I think 4 factions for a town of that like population size should be pretty good. Because it's about the same size as that capital city, and that one had 5. I think we can afford to make this one 4 because there's going to be a lot of religious orders in this town because of the way it's structured. But yes, okay, so what do we need? So this will be the what is it, the faction name? Leader and headquarters. What is it? Method of invitation. Ideals and requirements. And then finally, faction missions. There we go. That should be a good start. I might just put a page break just to make this a little bit cleaner. How do I insert a page break? There we go. Perfect. Yeah, that's just a little bit cleaner. All right. So this is for Astronim, which is this is the religious sanctum city that we're running in Fronard. So it's this big one here that has the temple connected by the what is it, the sandbank? So I'm thinking, because if we take a look at patron types, we're going to be working with a lot of religious orders because it is a very religion-heavy city. I'm thinking we might go a composition of like 3 religious orders with like, yeah, I think like 3 religious orders and then maybe some type of academy perhaps. Because, I mean, let's be honest, someone has to teach them how to do things around there. And, well, let's say you don't always want to have the clerics teaching everything. What do we think? I mean, they would have a military force based on paladins, but I feel like you could kind of lump that under religious order. Maybe something like a guild could be good. Yeah, like some type of guild, because if we take a look at what's our Astronim notes say? Yeah, accessible via sandy channel, low tide. But now for intricately carved stone towers. Yep, okay, that's where I think our guild will be. So we'll have like a stonemasons guild. Yeah, that should be a good setup. Single guild and a bunch of religious orders. That will work well for Astronim. And then from here we can start diversifying. So we're definitely working with the Crafters Guild because we have all the stone towers. So that will be a Crafters Guild. Apostrophe should be in the other spot. Punctuation. I don't know where I was going with that joke. It's a terrible joke. I apologize. What are we looking for? Okay, so religious orders. There's a lot of good options. And considering we have to have enough factions to potentially cover a wider array of tasks, because, you know, we're assuming that there's not going to be as heavy of a presence of a rogue organization because it'd be very hard to find them in the city. I'd be tempted to run Doomslain Evangelist, but the problem is, I feel like that would introduce a hostile element that, well, actually, it could be interesting to run it, because then that actually introduces a hostile element that would make, introduce something of a starting point for, words are failing me, as a starting point for conflict and like an early game quest line if the players choose to start in Astronim, because I want to give them the option to start on in any city basically, and then the story kind of weaves around where they start. Like that's what I'm doing in my current campaign scene that I'm working on that's private. So we might do that. So yeah, I think we'll have some Doomslain Evangelists, which might actually hire from the party, which could make for a very interesting dynamic. Because then you have to be like, are you against the SMR or are you working with the SMR? Very different. Very, very different. So yeah, so we'll go Doomslain Evangelists. You always have to have some type of charitable missionaries, I think. Because charitable missionaries are like gold in any city. Like these are the ones, like these will be the kinds of people who will help to keep the population happy. Probably would be working outside of the leader most of the time, but maybe privy to work with them. And then Relic Collectors could be good. I kind of think Undead Hunters could be an interesting one, but the problem is it's like if they're already having a religious sanctum, I don't think they would necessarily need them. So I'm kind of thinking probably the Relic Collectors or Devout Scholars could be good. Because I don't think we want to go militant Inquisitors. Like, we already have the Evangelists, which are going to cause issues in the city. So I think it could be interesting to go Relic Collectors, because that then also gives a drive to want to go to other empires and incite conflict. So I think maybe we have some Relic Collectors. Yeah, so Relic Collectors. Perfect. All right. We still need to figure out names. I guess we should first figure out motives for something of this nature. So, what are we thinking? Because we have to understand that once we have the ideals, that kind of shapes how everything plays out. It's like Relic Collectors. What would they be collecting the relics for? Is it purely like a more historical nature side of thing of, say, they're collecting this just purely to preserve history? Because you have to remember, this is a guide. It doesn't always have to be, the museum-like style thing. Do we want them to be collecting relics for other purposes and they're just not telling anyone what they're doing with it? That's where a lot of interesting ideas could come about. I guess I should also figure out the leader. The leader will definitely be some type of... Do we want them to be monks? It could be. It could be interesting to go monks, because, let's be honest, we don't want a million clerics and paladins, especially considering I want the town guard to be like almost a 50-50 split of paladins and guards. Preserve history or collecting them to create fakes. Oh, that is such a tempting idea, Steph. Collecting them to create fakes. Okay, my follow-up question then, Steph, is what would be the benefit of them collecting relics just to make fakes? Like, what would be their incentive to want to create the fakes? Is it like a situation of they think that no one else should have the genuine article? Or is it more this kind of, there's like, you know, some sense of corruption within the ranks sort of thing. Because I do think it's an interesting idea, but I'm just like curious, like what would be the motivation for collecting them simply to make like fake replicas of those relics is, I guess, my curious question in this case. Because I think it could be cool. Seeks to collect holy... Yeah, because I do like the idea of like seeks to collect holy relics from across the empires. Good morning, Doc. How are you doing? Good to see you. How have you been? Welcome to this cozy little stream of us slowly making making a bunch of factions for all our cities. No one should have the original and sell the fakes to wealthy people who only want it as a brag. Oh, that is an idea I like. My only thought is like, because, you know, relics are kind of designed to be, most of the time they're usually designed to be unique, but there are some like non-unique relics. So yeah, I think that could be a good idea. Let's go with that step. And yeah, and sell them to nobles as, yeah, collect holy relics and sell fake replicas of them to nobles for money. Or it doesn't always have to be for money. You can just sell them to nobles. Just woke up and it's 1:47 p.m. Dude, that is an absolute mood. My brother's like that. He'll literally be like, oh, 1 p.m. That's early. I'm like, well, of course it's early to you. You freaking go to sleep at like 3 or 4 in the morning. Of course that's early for you. And the leader could be an extreme historian. Yeah, no, I could get that. I could get behind that idea. Oh, one sec. All right, we're good. Sorry, a little bit of background noise. Let me just quickly check that inputs are working. I thought for a minute they weren't. Okay. But yeah, okay, I do like that idea. An extreme historian. So yeah. How did I phrase these when I wrote these originally? Yeah, so led by. Yeah, so led by blank I don't know yet. Doing good on night shifts again. Still have next night and then day and then day offs. How about you, Neon? Good. I am doing quite nicely. Yeah, things have been getting a bit better after everything that happened with my grandfather. Things are looking on the up and up, so I'm feeling a bit more relieved. I mean, definitely yesterday when I was hanging out with my friends and stuff, I really needed that because there was a lot going on, and you know, we had kind of a 50-50 split with half my family being pretty calm and the other half being a bit frantic. So it's sort of just kind of, you know, coordinating with them, working together to figure out how to keep the distress down and also make sure that we weren't going crazy ourselves. But yes, I'm doing quite well. It's actually nice to see my friends when I did last night, because I mean, I mentioned on the thing we went to see the new Doctor Strange movie, which I gave my opinion. I thought it was quite nice. Granted, I haven't kept up with the MCU since Endgame, so I'm very much out of the loop on a lot of the details, but thankfully my friend who's a big Marvel fan is like, here, I'll just give you the like Spark Notes version of it. I'm like, perfect. You've got me set. Led by I guess it'd be Lawful Evil. Yeah, Lawful Evil. Lawful Evil. I'm not sure yet what his race would be. Historian. In We'll figure out a feature for that. But yes, yeah, no, it was a good time. I will say, I feel like Marvel has really done a good job. Has really done a good job on handling, or sorry, the MCU has handled the ideas of the multiverse very nicely. Good to hear. Yeah, the Doctor Strange movie was nice. A bit weird how much gore there was for Marvel movie, but nice. Yeah, that was the most surprising part to me, Doc. I was like, geez, there are just people straight up dying in this. Like you've got well, I mean, to be fair, Wanda was never someone who, was going to be against killing at all. So I'm not surprised that there was a lot of deaths, like especially when they hop to that other universe and she finds a way there. Like that was when I was like, oh, this is gonna get terrifying. And then just because I didn't realize just how strong Wanda was. Like I knew some of the powers that Scarlet Witch originally had from like playing like some of the Marvel games, so I knew some of her abilities, but I did not know that she had like that in the MCU. She just basically had like reality altering powers at that point, and I'm just like, and in my head, I didn't say it out loud, but in my head, I'm just like, so what you're telling me is she's just a walking reality stone. Yikes! Just absolute yikes. But yes, I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to spoil it for people, but if you do get the chance, do go watch it. I'm sure you'll find something in it that's good. I actually really liked the kind of overall message of the ideas of the never-ending pursuit of like happiness and relation and family. Like that was such a heavy theme that was placed on Doctor Strange, and I do really think they explored it very nicely. A bit bad as there were a few small children watching the movie and then the head scene came on. Oh yes. Yeah, that would do it. I think I know which one you're talking about. I think I'm pretty certain you're talking about Black Bolt, aren't you? Yeah, that would definitely do it. Yeah, that would definitely scare a lot of children seeing that. I'm gonna say, yeah, it was slight whistling to his voice, which I don't know if I'm... Or actually, maybe, yeah, we'll figure out something nice. Yup, yep, Doc knows exactly which one I was thinking of. Yeah, no, that would have scared a lot of kids. Although, granted, that also depends how well they understood what happened. But I think they set it up pretty well. But yes, I do agree. That would have scared a lot of kids. Like that is a lot of trauma that's going to come back to them later. But I mean, look, I think it makes sense. Hello, Pixie. How are you doing? Nice of you to pop in a chat. BRB going to go give Mother's Day present. Good idea, Doc. I've already given my Mother's Day present off to my mother. Me and my brother kind of coordinated it. He went and bought chocolates from a nice chocolate shop nearby, and I went to my local flower shop and bought some nice red dahlias, which look rather beautiful, actually. They have like this nice coloration that fades out into a slight purple, and I was like, perfect. I know my mum will love these. She loves flowers that have that natural like gradient to their coloration, and also just ones that don't make a lot of pollen because she has bad sinuses. Okay, so makes what's like a thing that's like very synonymous with the story? It's maybe like maybe like a strangely styled pair of glasses, like similar to like Ozpin's ones, where like they have like that weird wave to it. We have a carved necklace with my name, brother's name, and brother's child's name on it. That is a really good one. Yeah, that's a solid Mother's Day gift. I'm sure she'll love that, Doc. Because yeah, I used to do like kind of crafting stuff like that for my mother. Mainly what I used to do was that I used to what's it called? I used to make origami flowers for her, and I did that for the past 3 years. And every year I would learn a new flower origami pattern and then make that. So I think I started with roses, then I did lilies, and then I think last year I made like what is it? Chrysanthemums? I got the best flowers today. Ooh, nice. What kind of flowers were they, Pixie? I'd be curious to know. Because there are a lot of beautiful flowers out there. Because, let's be honest, there's not that many. Oh, a drawing will last forever. That is true. A drawing will always last forever. It's interesting. It makes me think of a story idea I remember where it was the idea of um someone being able to capture images basically by like holding their fingers in the style of a frame, and then it captured the image, but because it was like a situation of like uncontrolled power, they were actually capturing like creatures and stuff in it too, and so they're like, oh, this is bad. And it's interesting because like I wanted it to be this idea that they made it formed the image in like almost this like water vapor that hung still, and then they can just like slap it on a Polaroid and it just stays. But yeah, I do always love that quote, like a drawing will last forever, because it really will if you keep it nicely preserved. Yeah, it was strange. How did I misspell strangely? Okay, what are we thinking? Yeah, okay, if they're relic collectors, I think we'd want somewhat. Well, I guess if it's a single person, maybe as a relic collector, then that could work. That could definitely work. He can have some type of like magic that allows him to do the duplication, because I know there are like duplication spells. It's just a question of how he would do it, but we can figure out specifics later. Maybe now to think where his headquarters would be. That's the one thing we do need. It's like a good spot. I guess like an academy. Oh. Oh, thank you for the follow, Pixie. Very kind of you. Well, welcome. I hope you do enjoy. And yeah, welcome to my lovely little corner of the internet. All right. What are we thinking? I guess he could be like an academic. I mean, if he's an historian, he would have to be an academic, right? Yeah, so maybe he has like an office or something that he can be put in. I'm gonna just do a little bit of a cheeky copy paste from my previous to set this up. What is this? This is Arial 11. Set this to Arial 11. Okay, perfect. So maybe we'll say he has an office in the... Yeah, maybe in like the history wing of some type of academy. We don't know what the name is yet. And we don't know which district it's in, so we'll just keep that blank. But yeah, I think that'll be good. Having him have an office in the history wing, and that's like how they contact him. They just always go to him. Who would he be most interested in? I guess he'd be most interested in people who don't really ask questions. So like probably more mercenary types. Like maybe like more neutral. Like yeah, like maybe like contacts like neutral characters and mercenaries. Yeah, because that like makes more sense. That he would want to hire someone who's not really going to inquire what he's doing with the relics. He just wants them to collect them. And so I think it makes it a bit simpler if he picks someone who is less likely to ask questions. Some of them might, and I'm sure he'll have like cover stories for those. Let's see. We need a method of invitation. This is like where this is where it kind of gets hard. You have to think of something that's quite like unique and not something that's going to completely turn the party away. Like, it's not, we're not going to do like the Zentarum, flying snake through the window. You're welcome. Well, it's very kind of you, Pixie. I do appreciate. But yeah. I'm trying to think. What's like a good method of invitation? I know you have like sending spells, paper birds, getting someone under you to deliver it. I don't think he would go the route of like sending a student out to deliver it. I feel like he'd do something simple, like a paper bird or something. Although I guess there's also a question. I do like the D&D community. So many lovely peeps. Yeah, I know there's definitely plenty. I know there's definitely plenty of lovely peeps. I've kind of been, I don't want to say being like on the fence with my experiences, but I will say I have not exactly had the greatest of experiences at times. Paperboy? Oh, that's a good idea, Steph. Yeah, have like someone who he has hired as like a messenger. Because I guess, yeah, he could send like an academic messenger with a letter. Sends an academic messenger to deliver a letter of invitation to the party, stating, quote, greeting, quote, maybe something. I feel like he'd be slightly pompous about it, so maybe something like the chance to create history or something like that. This could be your chance to make history. It's to make history. Like that could be a nice like cheesy little line to have in there. Come see me at the blank academy. See me at the blank academy. I'll explain more. Maybe something like that. I feel like he'd be pompous to say to make real history. Like we can make him kind of pompous. Come see me at the blank academy. I'll tell you more. That could be like a good invitation letter. Because normally the invitation letters are very short. Like you look at the ones that like Zentarum use, and they're literally just like, we think you have potential, go to this place at this time. Yeah, I'll just cut the I'll tell you more bit. That sounds sad, but yes, there is some. That's why I love Twitch. Shoot down the stream if I do not like them. I mean, that's fair. That's fair. Well, to be fair, my bad experiences with D&D have not been on Twitch, and they've more been within friend groups and stuff. I don't want to completely retell the story because I've told it several times, but I guess to put it simply, there was a situation that led to me finding out that my high school friends were not the people I thought they were. Ah, yes, that is not good indeed. It was not fun. And the whole situation basically lasted about 4 years. Sorry, not yeah, 4 years. 4 years, and it had a very slow escalation, and it reached a point that was so toxic that I had to I literally went on hiatus from D&D for 2 years. I just couldn't do it. I would play and I wouldn't feel happy anymore, so I just went, you know what? I'm not putting up with this. Gonna I'm gonna go on hiatus. I'm gonna drop out of any campaigns I'm playing in. I even basically put the campaign I was running at the time on indefinite hiatus. I just needed time. And those people and those high school friends, I completely cut them off, scorched the earth, and now I just have my actual friends who are, not related via school. They're just people I've randomly met through other things like cosplay and stuff, and honestly, I've been happier with them ever since. Damn, yeah, it's an entire situation, Pixie. I have been tempted to write it up as a proper horror story, but I feel like it's not worth it. Like, you only really write them for drama. Cosplay we. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's where I've met some of my best friends. I met two of my three partners through cosplay. I've met some of my closest friends through cosplay. I've met so many wonderful people through it, including a few of them who went on to do Twitch streaming, and one of which actually gave me the motivation to basically start streaming. Essentially, one comes from LARP. Ooh, nice. I've heard LARP's amazing. I have a friend who does LARP out here in New South Wales, and she tells me it's fantastic. I would love to do it, but with my current uni schedule, I just don't have the time to commit to that. So that might be something I pursue once I'm actually in my career position. It is. Yeah, I kind of figured that was that was the case. But yeah, I do want to try and do it though, because I am a bit of a theater kid, so I do love me some of that. But yeah, it's just about finding the time to sit down and look into it, figure out what the time commitment would be, and just overall schedule it, because I basically live my life off scheduling. Okay. So we have an idea. We'll come up with a name in a little bit as to what we call the Relic Hunters. What's going to be some good faction missions to run? Can you not auto-bullet that? Thank you. I think, because normally I make about 4 faction missions for each faction, just so I have an idea of what they'll be doing, and then I can generate them in more detail later. Do you do your own maps? Yes, I do. I tend to use HexTML, which is what I used to create this one. So this is the current map, which we generated in the first stream, and we've been slowly filling out. So this is, so I just use HexTML because it just makes the whole generation process simpler. Because again, it's I'm someone who very much runs on the idea of I don't make my assets that I use for campaigns to be, insanely pretty or beautiful. I make them to be functional. And so I just use a simple tile map setup like this most of the time. Just because my strength has always been more with characterization and storytelling, especially improvised storytelling, rather than map creation and all that sort of thing. So yeah, I just make very simple maps. Let's see, which places would be ones of interest, because he is definitely in a position where it's hard for him to go get relics unless he's prepared to transport the party. Like, definitely he'd be going for a relic somewhere here. I'd be tempted to think he might go for one in the Underdark. But, like, ooh, it's again, it's such a hard call. What do those missions tend to normally consist of? Yeah, Relic Recovery, seek a lost symbol of the order discovered in a dangerous place or in the hands of an enemy. So that could be an interesting one. Hands of the enemy. It could be a situation of something gets stolen. I'm totally the other way. I love the beauty. I make them in Wunderdraft and Dungeon Draft. I haven't actually heard of either of those programs. I mean, I've heard of like a lot of the other big ones like Foundry and all those. But yeah, I remember one that I came across at a convention called, I think it was like, I feel like it was something like Arkenforge or something that had like a system where basically you could draw the rooms and then it would like auto generate like items in it to fill out the space so that you didn't have to manually do it. And so all you need to do is draw the rooms and fill it with enemies. But I haven't heard of those two. I have a 5-layer project going right now. Oh, wow. I'd be so curious to know what like all those individual layers are for, because I assume one's for like GM notes, another layer for maps, another one for tokens. I'd be curious to know what else there would be. Maybe there's like a player like token layer and then like an inn. Ooh, interesting. It's the fun. God, this is like the one thing I love about the D&D community, just how much creative stuff that people make and just how quick they are to generate ideas. Okay, I'm gonna make one that's like an extract the blank from the symbol of blank across the sandy atoll, I think it is. Okay, so wait, what did I call it? Did I refer to it as an atoll in the original description? Sandy channel. Across the sand channel. Yeah. We do need to actually figure out what that temple is dedicated to, because we haven't actually figured that detail out just yet. Okay, so we have a relic extraction. What other kind of missions would you have? I mean, I doubt someone maybe. Oh no, you wouldn't want to have like a situation of like you have to go negotiate to a noble and have to like convince them that the relic is real, because I don't think. I would almost kind of want to make it that this guy doesn't tell the party that they're fake. Like the party could try and figure out if they're fake. Or maybe, I guess they could deliver a relic to a noble. Yeah, so like maybe deliver a relic to a noble and possibly negotiate price. Negotiate its sale. Yes, Steph is keen on this. Yeah. Yeah, so deliver a relic to a noble and negotiate its sale. I can see the party being able to do that. So let's see. Yeah, so deliver the relic, negotiate sale. What else would you have? Maybe something along the lines of like, I'm trying to think. Would a thief be ballsy enough to break into an academy? I feel like they would. Like, I feel like there's dangerous locations. Okay, well, here's the other option, because the first mission is the idea of they know there's the main historian. He would. Well, thanks for that, Cam. Depends on security. That's a good point. Also, hello, Cry. How are you doing? And also, hello, Napa. It's good to see you. Haven't you seen D&D the movie? No, I've seen like reviews of it. I know it's terrible. I know it's a terrible movie from what I've heard. But yeah, I mean, definitely potential for someone to go in and steal it. Yeah, so maybe like recover a relic from relic that was stolen by an infamous thief. That could work too, because we already have that plot line of like, hey, oh, there was an ad. Sorry, Cry. It's all good. Yeah, so how are you doing, Cry? The two thieves steal from the magic school. Oh, is that what they do in that movie? Interesting. Yeah, okay. I think I think this could work too, the idea of the relic that was stolen by an infamous thief, and then it can be tied to our villain. So I guess they'd be like a servant of Srag. Yeah, because then also that introduces a good was it like plot line or something? My mobile says your Twitter profile link is not working. Really? I thought it did. Oh, that's strange. I was pretty certain I fixed that up. Maybe I might have to figure that out. Yeah, in the meantime I can just I can link it to you, Pixie, if you want. Or like whisper it to you. Actually, I think I have a social command, I think, for that. Because, or did it just not? Hold on, I'm going to check. I'm pretty certain that Twitter should have worked, but oh well. It starts the party grouping process, which leads to a good campaign plot. Ah, okay, that makes sense. Small world. Oh, you found it? Yeah, okay, that's fair. I mean, to be fair, I made it pretty easy to find. Small world. Quite so. Oh, interesting. So I guess Pixie, you and Snow know each other? I'd be curious to know how, if you don't mind me asking. Okay, so we got the relic. Okay, so this one was from a known relic. What if it's more investigating the rumor? The rumor of a relic in a given location. Yes. We bump into each other across the Twitchverse. We have similar taste, I guess. Ah, that's what it is. That makes a lot of sense, actually. That makes a lot of sense. I guess it is. I guess, as you said, Snow, it is a small world after all. Feels like real life for me. There's so many times where like I will bump into someone, and for some reason, my mother will have some sort of like relation to that person. I'm like, how do you know how do you know so many people? And she's just like, are you surprised by this, really? I'm like, I shouldn't be, but I still am. Every time. She just knows someone. Like the one story that still blows my mind was one time, I think about like 3 or 4 years ago, I ended up in a major car crash that totaled both cars, and it turns out the other driver was literally the daughter of one of my mother's work colleagues. And when I found that out, I just went, are you kidding me? Like, honestly, I would have preferred if you had told me it was someone completely random. Because now I know that was someone that my mother knows. That was their daughter. Like, that makes me feel worse about it. Because I was completely at fault for that one. And I'm like, geez. I'll just send you 2 or 5 layers on Twitter. Okay. Okay, I'm keen to see, Pixie. What you got? Yeah. Okay. So I think I think those are good for some faction missions. Oh, thank you for the hydration, Seth. I just realized I don't actually have any water on me, so time to go quickly fix that. So in the meantime, I guess you guys can enjoy my new intermission panel that we set up on the art stream last. So yeah, be back in a few minutes. Alright, I have the water for my hydrate. Cheers for that, Steph. Smooth tunes, yeah. I found some good I found some good beats. I know how to sort you know better than I that I know how to sort some good beats, Nappa. Kind of reminds me of Dr. Weird and Cuckoo Stars. I don't think I've actually heard of I don't think I've heard of either of them, but I mean, I'm sure they probably are similar in that regard. It's like you'd know better than I would, but yeah, I definitely might need to check them out. Could be good music for work. Oh yeah, I should get the music playing again. All right, let's see, where were we up to? All right, yeah, so we've got this first one figured out. We just need to figure out a name for the team, and we need to figure out who the employer actually is. So let's think for a moment. What kind of race would we want having as like a historian? I feel like it would be... I kind of want to say Vedalken, but I tend to use Vedalken kind of a lot. And I don't want to go with Gnome because that seems very stereotypical. That's what you mean. Okay. I get you, Nav. I get you. Dude, that was such a fun time last night. Fucking, we had so much fun. Kind of wish we did been able to go to karaoke as well, but I think we were all knackered by the end. Okay, so maybe for now I'm gonna make him a Vedalken. Because I do like Vedalken. I do like Vedalken a lot. Oh, that's why I forgot a fantasy name generator. That would be good to get. Good ramen too, yeah. I told you, man. Ramen Zundo is a really good place for food. This dude knows great ramen place. Exactly. Thank you. Yeah, look, when I go out around the city, I always know how to find like some of the better places for food. Even though, you know, that's coming from someone who usually has some of the most simplest tastes in most occasions. What are we looking for? Where is it? Vedalken. There you are. Perfect. Nonal seems like a decent name. Nonal. Because I could see the Vedalken being people who would want to preserve relics and not really trust people with them, because they don't really seem to trust people normally, do they? What's going on? Oh, okay. Just my Twitter notifications. Thank you for that, Pixie. Okay, yeah. So we'll make him a Vedalken because Vedalkens are usually better as either like engineers, scientists, but some of them would be historians. I think. Let me just double check that actually before I completely talk out my ass here. Where is it? Vedalken. It's funny, I think I was planning to run Vedalken at one point. Oh yeah, the Owlins are out. I should actually look into what the Owlin's like. Now I want ramen. Oh, dude, same stuff. I will always crave a bowl of ramen at just a moment's notice. It's like all I need to do is think it and I want it. Cool rationality, reasoning toward perfection. Yep, okay, so path toward the impossible goal of perfection paved with bricks of education, careful deliberation, controlled experimentation. Yeah, okay, yeah, no, definitely we want to run Vedalken for this. They fit perfectly in this setup. Okay, so let's now think for a moment, because this is the point where we can start using these factions to kind of flesh out things a bit more. So what do we want to call the academy? Keeping in mind this is going to be this is a religious sanctuary town. We want to have names that are appropriate to the nature of it. And I kind of don't want to go with the idea of just naming it straight up after the Protector as Samar in charge. I think it's a little bit dickish, so to speak. Maybe something to do with like wings, perhaps. But we already have the idea of wings as like, sections of the academy. Any ideas? Any ideas people have for a good name for an academy? We're leaving this blank because we don't have that. I'm gonna probably call... I need to think of a good faction name. Maybe like... Maybe like Gilded Rope. Cupertino? Oh, I do like Cupertino. Wait, hold on, Steph, why does Cupertino sound familiar? That sounds so familiar, that name Cupertino. Is that like... I feel like that's like a real life location somewhere in the world and I don't actually know. Or maybe it's like something from a movie. I don't know. I do like the name Cupertino. Taken from St. Joseph of Cupertino. Okay, that's actually a pretty cool origin. Let's go with it. Maybe we'll do a little bit of tweaking. Let's make it St. Cupertino Academy. Phantasms? Yeah, that's... Phantasms could work. Like a Phantasm Academy. Or maybe like... I kind of feel like the Phantasm thing could actually be more linked to the Evangelists. Like they have a Phantasm belief. Yeah, let's go the Purple Phantasms. Oh, thank you for the follow, Snow. Very kind of you. Very kind of you. Been good chilling, but I got to go for now. I'll drop by sometime. Hell yeah. Thank you for popping in, Snow. Sorry, I keep looking to the first. Thank you for popping in, Snow. It's always good to have you around. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the future. Fate series working its way in there. Oh, is the Phantasm something from Fate? I honestly have not seen Fate, so I wouldn't know, to be honest. But yeah, maybe we have it less out of their name and have it that they have a belief in it, like the idea of phantasms. I guess now we're just moving on to this one, to this particular evangelist group. So the Order, whatever they call themselves, believe that the spirits of what's like a thing where I'm trying to think, like spirits tend to collect in a specific area. I'm just trying to think, would it be like the spirits of the celestials, the spirits of demons? Like what kind of evangelist nature would they potentially have? Because they believe it's about to end, so what would they have as like an end belief? Oh, g'day, Astro. How are you doing? Good to see you. How you been? You're just in time with where we're making a Doomslain evangelist faction. Perhaps you have an idea of what we can go with here for a name. Yeah, phantasms are a release of power. A noble phantasm is the ultimate power release. Oh, okay, interesting. So it's almost like a burst of like almost whole, like divine energy. Been busy. Hope you've been doing well. I've been doing quite well. I mean, I already said it earlier, but thanks to some good resolutions that have happened with my grandfather's condition, I am doing very nicely. So I'm in better spirits than I was like 5 hours ago. Let's put it that way. Okay, yeah, maybe it's like the spirits of maybe like the spirits of devils and demons will overrun Astronim and destroy the sanctuary. Fog General, thank you, Astro. Yeah, okay, interesting. I mean, I don't think I'd want to run phantasms like as an idea because, I mean, I know I haven't mentioned it on stream. I have done some stuff where it's like I've homebrewed ideas in from like other things, and I already have that done with like Culture Simulator and the Savage Song. I don't know if I want to work in Fate. Like that might be a bit much. Yeah, maybe like the spirits of devils and demons will overrun Astronim and destroy. Would I want to make it the temple? Like, I don't want everything to be hooked on a temple that's out in the middle of nowhere. Because, like, you have to think about it. That sandy atoll, which I'm now realizing should probably be closer in all honesty. Gonna lurk for a bit? Well, in all good, Steph, thank you for the lurk. I do appreciate that. But yeah, I'm just trying to think. Because, yeah, the atoll itself, I think, would want to be a situation of, like, sorry, like, brain is kicking in trying to think. Yeah, I don't want it to be completely tied to the temple. Maybe we just have it tied to... Maybe just destroy the island. Yeah, I think just destroy the island. That's like a very simple one for Doom, for like evangelists to think that just the entire island's just gonna blow, and because of that, the world's going to end into the collapse of all good civilization. Because I mean, they have to be crazy. Contacts. I don't know who they would contact. I guess they like contact religious characters and those who would you say, I don't think you want charismatic. Well, I mean, you do want charismatic, but not to the point where they understand what you're doing. So I think maybe just religious and good aligned characters probably makes more sense. Yeah, and then because then when we make the charitable missionaries, we can have it be a direct clash of like factions that can potentially be an issue. Because I think the charitable missionaries, I want them to be the default contact, because you always have to have a default contact in a or yeah, a default like faction that wants them in the city. Like if you look at how Dragon High sets it up, the fact that, you know, the Grey Hands are always a default contact in comparison to all the other ones where it's more specified based on what they have to offer. I think it would be good to have it that, like, you know, that the evangelists and the missionaries are kind of almost having to fight for their own what's it called, to get followers, basically. I'm like stumbling on my words like super badly. Yikes. Don't know why I'm stumbling this badly on my words. Okay, so we've got the ideals sorted. Who should be leading this? I kind of think I want it to be like a. I mean, I guess it would be a chaotic neutral. I kind of think it should be. It won't be a dwarf. Dwarfs are normally not that stupid. I could believe a human to be this crazy. Like, dwarves can go crazy, but it's very unlikely in most circumstances. So I'm going to say, yeah, like a chaotic neutral human cleric of. Oh, who's like a good deity pick for that? Let me consult my notes for a second, because I know there's someone who's good for it. Let's see. Who in the Greyhawk deities are like a little bit crazy? I don't think it would be Oladamara. Oladamara wouldn't be crazy enough to actually try and spark like conflict with divine figures such as ASMRs. He'd probably be cast out if he did that. So he'd be probably looking for a neutral deity that's not normally, that wouldn't cause it to be cast out. So where is it? Gods of the Multiverse. Here we go. Sorry, I'm just pulling up the player's handbook section. Greyhawk. Where's the list? Oh god. Cobb, Celestian. From what I remember, Celestian wouldn't. Their knowledge domain, they wouldn't be dumb enough to do that. Ooh. No, Istis, no. Istis would not do that. That's the one problem. I want to run Istis because they're the god of fate. Like if I pull this over, like literally, Istis, goddess of fate and destiny. Problem is, I know they're not dumb enough to do something like that because you know, they take the idea of the Weaver's fate very seriously. So I can't use that. I can't run Relishaz. Cuthbert is no, because St. Cuthbert's already the patron deity of that whole area. It needs to be someone. It needs to be like a deity that's like questionable. I mean, granted, we can also take a look at the non-human ones, see if there's one that's going to be a little bit stranger. Keeping in mind that these are all usually tied to a particular race. I think it has to come from just Greyhawk. Just thinking who would be the weirder one to pick. It won't be Farlingen. Definitely not a Rithnul. I could weirdly see it being Baori. Because Baori's a little weird. Or maybe someone who claims to be a cleric of Istis and they just have like a misrepresentation of the information. That could be an idea. For now, I'm going to put it as Istis. Yeah, whose left eye is milky white. White, and his eye is milky white due to a cataract. I think it'd be good to have like a one-eyed. Well, I mean, it'd be interesting to have a one-eyed cleric, to be honest, because then it's got that extra weird factor. Or maybe just actually that could be something that's used for something later. That could actually be more something applied to the leader of the charitable missionaries, like have him look weird, whereas the other one might look a bit more clean cut. Um, who? This is going to be mean on any DM, but who always speaks in a loud, booming voice. I kind of think that's funny as a like a character trait. Just be like, dearest followers at any time. Just like he's never calm. He's like, pass me the wine decanter. It's just that would be so funny. Be funnier with him. Actually, it's funnier if I do this. The glory of the gods shine upon you. Oh, those actually did type them. Oh yeah, well, I guess they are tied to the numpad. Okay, so yeah, I think that would be funny to run for the evangelists. Where would they have a location? I kind of feel like they wouldn't be at a main temple. The evangelists would probably be running out of someone's house, is my guess. Because let's be honest, if you're running some Doomslaying evangelists, what temple is ever going to support you in that? None of them will. They'll all be like, dude, you're crazy and you're kind of going against scripture here, so get out, essentially. So I'm thinking, I'm kind of thinking it would be funny to go with the notion of, yeah. I mean, would you make it a noble's house? I don't know if a noble would be... Actually, nobles are pretty crazy. What am I talking about? Some of them would be absolutely just wacko and would be willing to host like a organization out of their backyard. Although then he wouldn't really be a cleric. Because clerics normally don't get too paid. Could be worse. Remember my turtle? Basically spoke really slowly like the sloths of the DMV from Zootopia. Oh, dude, you talking about Zanzibar? Yeah. Yeah, no, I remember Zanzibar. He didn't speak slow, though. He spoke much more simply. It was what I thought. I didn't think you were deliberately speaking it slowly. I think you were trying to choose your words carefully. But maybe that was just my interpretation of it. It was a good character though. I think it just needed maybe just a bit more fleshing out, and also just some general like cleanup. But I think it's a character with some potential. Or I definitely thought it was a character with some potential. Let's see. I guess you could host it out of like some type of old guild hall. Maybe leads the congregation out of an abandoned theater. We could go the abandoned theater route. That's definitely got a lot of potential because you have the empty space. You could arguably say if it's boarded up enough, the acoustics won't carry through. And plus, most people forget about the stage entrance. So that could be the way in which they actually get into the space. And then they would definitely have like some sort of like contact, I think. Like have a separate contact. So definitely like a primary contact. Definitely be like some type of like lawful, I reckon like a lawful neutral I'm gonna say that one's a male Vedokin. I think I could kind of see a female human cleric being the one for this. Dwarves are not going to really fall for it. Maybe I could kind of see maybe like a halfling. Yeah, I could see a halfling potentially falling for this kind of idea. Yes, male name, halfling name. We'll figure out names in a little bit. Okay, so now we need to figure out method of invitation. How does an evangelical order, how would they attract new people? Because like, I would think most of them would be along the lines of they'd be shouting in the streets, preaching about their ideas. But that's not really a method of invitation, is it? Because normally also factions are quite private. So maybe it could be something like a bizarre listing. I could kind of see that working, like some type of bizarre listing that they put somewhere that just doesn't quite make sense, but has like what's the word? Some type of meeting point written on it, and it's like if you come there, they'll give you the pitch, essentially. Like, I could weirdly see that working. I'm just trying to think how you would go about it. Like, would you just have a town crier from one of them, like, passing out, like, just screaming in the streets, or would you have it be a bit more subtle? Maybe we'll have it both. It's like I'm gonna say like the lower ranked followers what's like the word for it when you're like shouting out in the streets? It's not like is it preach? Yeah, preach their warnings in the city streets. Crier, yeah, I guess kind of like a town crier. But like, would you say a town crier? Like, how would you describe, I guess, the way of them shouting? Crier? What exactly is the difference between town crier and town prior? That is one I have no idea on. I don't think it's prior, because prior means an inquisitive person. Crier is, and I think that's normally crier spelt like this now, or I think it's spelled just regular like that. I don't think it's CRYER. Like town crier. Yeah. Yeah, it's that spelling of crier. But yeah, it's not the job though. We're talking about like the description for it. I think we'd say preach. But party members themselves are I guess like privately sent paper birds with the message, the time of, do we say redemption? I feel like redemption is a bit cheap. I kind of want to go with the time of judgment. The time of judgment and ruin shall means the time of judgment and ruin shall soon come to Astronim. Slipped under their doors? Yeah, actually, that's probably better. Party members themselves are slipped notes under their doors with the message. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Yeah, I like that idea better, Napa. Like the idea of just slipping it under the door because they don't have the resources. That's probably a better way to go about it. The time of judgment and ruin shall soon come to Astronim. Join us tonight at blank to learn how to help prevent such calamity. I think that should work as a good message. Less Hogwarty. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, I'm trying to avoid going the route of everything be delivered by messenger, but it's it's kind of hard when, you look at how Dragon High treats it, and it's oh, you get a bird with animal messenger, or you get, a flying snake delivers a scroll to your window, or something weird things like that. It's when you have that set up, you always think, you get another creature to deliver it for you. And it's no, that's probably not the best way to go about it, in all honesty. All right, so yes, I think we should probably also capitalize these. Judgment and ruin. I think it's better if they're capitalized, because then it gives a bigger emphasis to the words, because they would do that. It's a very religious style thing. All right. Perfect. So now we need to figure out missions. What kind of missions would evangelists typically run? We're definitely running with speakers going on. This is definitely the kind of thing where you'd have a mysterious speaker that's unknown to the party. Who is always wearing a blank to hide his face. I think that'll be important for later. Okay, let me think. What would typical missions be? Defending prophecy, expunging heresy. Oh well, that's definitely something they would do. Or a pilgrimage. Oh god, they would do a pilgrimage, wouldn't they? Because they've got the forests, they've got the grasslands, they've got this desert island with the temple on it, and they've got the mountains. First mission is probably undergo the pilgrimage. That I would probably think. Protect the... What are the ranks like again? I remember the ranks have very specific names. Yeah, this is what I remember. Yeah, ascetic. I like that word. The ascetic. The ascetic blank. Protect ascetic blank as he travels. As he undergoes pilgrimage through the blank, because we haven't actually named that mountain range yet, but we'll get to it. I think that would be important to make sure that he succeeds in his pilgrimage. So that would be one good mission to start with. That's also not too far. I'm trying to think. I feel like they would be tempted to try and disrupt the base hierarchy, considering this is a city dedicated to St. Cuthbert. So they would be tempted to try and force themselves. Well, I don't want to say force themselves upon a particular area, but they would kind of. think they'd be trying to push heavily to get their own zone of control. What could be like a good one? Maybe like you could have a Shadow Society deliver a message via a Shade Shadow or summoned fiend, which disappears when the message is delivered, like the spell in the wax from the message breaks when the message is opened, breaking the spell and desummoning the lesser demon. Yeah, that could definitely work for a darker organization, but this isn't really a dark organization. This is more just kind of, I guess, like a misled religious group. But I do like that idea. I think that could be very interesting and definitely one more useful for like a rogue network later. One that has like a bit more influence and power. That is a good idea, Napper. I do agree that's like a really fun one to work with. Trying to think. Undergoes yeah, so we got the pilgrimage. How would you make a mission about like disrupting like the town guard? Or like trying to, I guess you could try and take down another like evangelical order. Disband blank a rival group of evangelists who are weakening the order's influence. That could be another good one. And that's another one where you could either like negotiate, work with subterfuge, potentially disband them by force. Plenty of good options there. However, I still also kind of think that we want them to be important. I kind of think that'd be correct. I kind of think they might just send you out to like go deal with stuff in a graveyard. So maybe they send you out to like a mausoleum buried somewhere random, like in the forest. Clear out a spiritual clear out a surge of spirits recently discovered at a desecrated I don't want to say mausoleum because everything's a mausoleum. The mausoleums are also really damn big, so they're also good for that. Maybe just like a desecrated graveyard. Where is it? What? Well, we haven't actually named that village. We can get to that. Oh, nope, that is not the underline. Yeah, I think like a surge of spirits that recently discovered as a desecrated graveyard, and then we can find out. Crypt? Yeah. Yeah, okay, that's fair. Crypt. Yeah, and it can be over at the village. Like there's like a singular crypt where the ruling family puts all their dead. Because again, these guys aren't like evil. They're misled, which is a different thing. Like I don't want them to be entirely evil. They just, are a bit more prepared to be forceful in their arrangements, and they're actively they are disrupting the natural order of the city according to the actual leader of the city. And then like what's another good one? We've already done the Cold Heart thing. Professing a prophecy. That doesn't seem right. Maybe something could be. No, I've jokingly wanted to say stage a jailbreak, and I'm like, no, that's not what they do. They wouldn't want to stage a jailbreak for some of their followers. That would be bad. I'm thinking like what would make the most sense. Maybe something. It needs to be something that's just borderline crazy enough that it would make sense to. That would make sense to still be done, but that also kind of brings up the questionable nature of should it actually be done? Like, do we send them over to like some other nation and they do something real and they're like trying to chase something super important to their order? Maybe they're trying to retrieve something that was taken from them that they believe is important. I kind of think actually they would be a bit more prone to try and steal something. Yeah, I kind of think maybe steal a sacred relic from the... Because again, by this point, it would be like one of the more ending missions where they really have a lot of good favor with the party. So steal. So it'd be like steal blank a sacred relic of Istus from the Vedelkin's office. From Nonal's office in San Cupertino Academy. Because I like ones where factions kind of cross over each other and can do potentially harmful things for each other. Yeah, so from Nonal's office in St. Cupertino's Academy. Because you don't always want everything to just be, you know, a fight. You want them to also kind of plan out operations, and that's kind of a good one. We still need to figure out names. Let's figure out this cleric that's leading first. That's one that's definitely going to be important to figure out. I'm thinking we could probably go for the older female. No, actually, no. I don't like those as much. There's definitely ones we can get that might be good. Carway Heartwatcher actually doesn't seem too bad. Carway Heartwatcher. Because then it's still at least a warming name, at the very least. We'll just refer to, yeah. Yeah, well, that's the culture itself. Okay, perfect. We haven't figured out what the theatre is yet. Oh, we need a halfling name. That's what we need. Where are your halflings? There you are. Let's see, what's a good halfling name? Sharret Elderbraid. Actually, that is a perfect name. Sharret Elderbraid. I love names like that are just like, or like surnames that are really quirky like that. It's such a nice touch to have. Because then it's not just, you know, oh, here's a bunch of gibberish that's also a name. It's like, it has like extra meaning to it. We haven't actually figured out what he's covering his face with. I don't want it to be like a burqa or a veil. Maybe like just a scarf. Maybe just a simple scarf. Oh, I forgot they only let the Americans filling of grey. Same with the theatre. That actually drives me mad. Oh well. We have to roll with it because we're using a program that has it. We do actually need to come up with a name for the evangelists. I kind of want to just call them the Spirit Watchers, but I'm wondering if that's too on the nose. Like the Spirit Watchers, like whether there's a better name. And before anyone says it, no, I'm not calling them the Ghostbusters. As much as people are now probably going to want it, I'm not calling them the Ghostbusters. Let's see. We also need to figure out the other name of the other group. Maybe something like the Maybe something like the Damned Dreamers. I think the Damned Dreamers actually works kind of nicely as a rival name. Alright, I think we're good on that front. Quickly copy that over to fill in the last blank. And then I think we move to the default contact. Yep, let's do it. Let's get these charitable missionaries figured out. So I think we'll say it's led by a lawful good dwarven paladin named Blank, whose left eye is milky white due to a cataract. So we already have our missionary leader figured out. The missionaries themselves are normally like people who are trying to give back to the community. So we need something, we need their goals to be something that's like very, very simple, very selfless. Because yeah, adhering to the belief that religion empowers civilization, they travel far to help the downtrodden, seeking to draw new believers by their virtuous example. So they're very authentic people. We also need a good deity to use as well. I don't think Farlangen is the one that makes the most sense for this. I'd probably be... It's not going to be Cord either, because, you know, athletics and sport is not really one that would be of giving nature. Ilona, oh, it's potential for Ilona. Hyronius? I don't remember if Hyronius is like that. Like, there's definitely a lot of gods of generosity, but I'm trying to think who would be the best one for that. Peace and Reason. Liberty and Retribution. I wish I had my, like, actual specific notes ready on hand with, like, all the deity notes, but I don't have it on me. I should actually upload that to my Google Drive so I can always access it. I think in the meantime, though, I think my best thought is either we go with Elona or we go with yeah, Pelor's like the obvious one, and I already kind of have that set up as another faction for another place in another campaign. So I kind of think we want to go for something a bit more, something different. Tritherian, yeah, Tritherian could be a good one. Voltus as well, because he's light and law. My brain is just like racking itself thinking what's going to be good. I think in all like reasonable nature, I think either Rao or Trifarian. For now, I'm going to say Rao. I think Rao is like probably one of the better choices of deities because you know, if he's like all to do with, from what I remember, yes, peace and reason, but he's also like, you know, peace is achieved by, you know, setting the best example and giving back to the community, from what I remember. The group operates out of the smaller temple of the smaller church of Rao, in blank, which is currently in a state of disrepair. Like, I kind of want it to be that there's been some sort of event that's caused them a lot of damage, and that's what's going on. So we might as well go with that. Let's see. Method of invitation, I think, is just going to be very simple. I think it's going to be they actually have people walking around and asking, just straight up asking. Followers of the group are commonly and commonly travel door to door asking for, because remember, these are default contacts, so we don't have to make their method of invitation like super complex. Commonly travel door to door asking for donations and assistance, which leads them to ask the party for help. I think that's like probably the easiest way to just have them invite them in, because if they are keen on that, then it's good work for the community. They get a lot out of it. They won't get paid as much, but they'll be getting a lot of good favor within the community because they're doing a good thing. Belief, I think, can be very simple. I think we'll start from like the perspective of the paladin who's leading it. So we'll say that he believes that the probably say every citizen. I don't want to say the average citizen. Every citizen has a right to. I might actually have to look up a thing for Rao because I don't remember his exact stuff, and I want this to be accurate to how Rao is in D&D. So let's quickly look up some details so that we're not, messing this up. Yeah, serenity is a kind of gentle. Oh God, I'm losing it. Recover peace and reason. Kind of gentle soul as you might imagine. Will intimate that sometimes the other side simply will not listen or will intentionally try and hide truth their own game. He allows limited conflict to resolve. He holds a great hatred for thieves, conmen, shady politicians. This is a very small article. I am not happy. I am disappointed with that. Normally that wiki is actually not bad for sourcing deities. This seems more like what we want. Rulers, diplomats, sages, scholars, philosophers make up the bulk of his faithful. Makes sense. Where's his mantra? Holy days, scriptures, orders. Come on, where's his dogma? Reason is the greatest of virtues, leads to dialogue, leads to peace, leads to serenity. Anyone reasoned with their neighbor, will benefit from harmony of order. Now that's actually making me think if Hieronius is probably going to be the better pick then. Because at least Hieronius is all about chivalry and valor. Although you could also say that it actually gives more reason why you would probably want to run Hieronius. Let's do some Googling, because I don't have my document on hand. There's Hieronius. Here we go. Please have a good, decent article. Oh, well, this looks more descriptive. No, get out of here. Where is it? Myths and legends. Holy days, rituals. Where's his dogma? Here it is. See, the world is a deadly place. While this always act with honor and chivalry and to uphold justice. Dangers to be faced head on with calm and resolve. Those who defeat evil are rewarded with glory, while those who uphold the tenets of the Archpaladin are rewarded with virtue. Yeah, this seems more like what we want. So I think definitely switching this to Hieronius will be better. I had to double check if I'd actually spelled Hieronius right. Yeah, so every citizen has a right to health and has a right to food and shelter. Maybe that might be simpler. To food and shelter within the holy sanctuary of Astronim. I think we'll make that as a quote from him, the Holy Sanctuary of Astronim, because not everyone will agree that it is actually a holy sanctuary. Some people will probably say it's more of a holy prison, but that's where something like that can be more hotly debated, I would think. And yeah. I'll say he works alongside tavern owners and other scholars. Other scholars, maybe other politicians. I'm like in my head trying to think what might be another way. Let's actually check who normally worships him. Faith is very militaristic, launching crusades against evil, championing causes. Soldiers, city watchmen, mercenaries. Yeah. And the town guard. Yeah. Yeah, I think that could be a good one, because then that also shapes the tenets of the town guard as well, which is going to be important for this type of thing. Now we just need to figure out the missions. Because again, we'll make 4 missions. Normally, from memory, they would do... I could kind of see them just asking the party, hey, can you hunt for food? Because like, again, that they wouldn't be... If they're charitable missionaries, they're not likely to be hiring... what's it called? They're not likely to be hiring people? No, not people. They're not likely to be hiring, like, paladins straight out of the guards or anything like that. So I'm kind of wondering... Okay, I know one that's definite, which is escort a cart of food and water to the... Where is it? Where's the map? Yeah. To the coastal village of blank, which is suffering from... Yeah, which... Yeah, like, I'm trying to think what normally causes, like, issues with, like, crops. Or maybe it's just that they've had, like, just bad weather and stuff, or some type of disturbance. Yeah, discording to help feed the poor. Because technically they all are quite poor, and they probably won't have as much resources, considering it's probably all slowly getting funneled back into Astronim rather than staying within the village. So that might be an important one. What else would What else would they do? Let's have a quick peek in here and see what other like important... the pilgrimage thing, I don't think is entirely what we want for missionaries. A cart of food and water, we already have kind of covered that. Right to field shelter, maybe getting the party to help, because they're mainly going to be doing escort missions. But I don't want it to be all just hey, escort this cart to this place. Like, maybe it could be something like working alongside lumberjacks. I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think that's definitely going to be better. Go for accompanying a group of lumberjacks that go into the forest to collect timber, basically. I think that could work. And then that can potentially introduce issues with the Fae because of the fact that they're cutting down trees, or even just issues with bandits. Plenty of options there for potential conflicts. Yeah, that should be fine. What else would you have like a simple charity missionary like this do? Because again, I don't think it should be all just escort missions. Maybe it could be something that's also to do with like rescuing them from a bad situation. Because what? There's 2 villages. I could also kind of see potentially issues with like some type of collapse maybe, or like a rescue mission to try and help like say if there's like a tunnel collapse with this path, like trying to get over there to rescue them. Rescue, and like a rescue a band of rescue some, I'm going to say civilians for now. Rescue some civilians from a tunnel collapse along the path to Slanton. Like I definitely think they would try and do, because again, they are working to have a right to food and shelter. They would have to take up some types of mercenary work, and they would most likely be doing ones tied to emergency rescue. So one of them would just be, hey, we need to rescue civilians from a tunnel collapse, or something like that. I think that makes the most sense for it in my mind. But again, that's just my thoughts. We need one more. Yeah, we can come up with one more later. For now, let's do some naming quickly. So let's say we need a dwarven name to start off with. Name our infamous paladin. I almost said paladin. I'm like, is that what happens when Aladdin does Pilates? Oh. Okay. Took a little while to load, it seems. Let's do some shuffling. Ooh, a lot of good ones. Uman Big Eyes. Big Eyes is really a name? I'm going with it because it sounds funny. Uman Big Eyes. Bad Dad JK. I mean, entirely possible. Entirely possible. Napper, entirely possible. Uman Big Eyes. I mean, I'm trying to think, because I mean, what would you think if you heard the name Big Eyes as a dwarven clan? Like, what would you think they would be doing? Like, would you imagine them to be like, scouts or like rangers or something? Or would you expect them to be like maybe they're named that because they tend to wear glasses a lot? Like, I'm very confused where you would get it. It also is just appropriate because he has a cataract eye. Mineral inspector? Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, like maybe an appraiser. He comes from a clan of appraisers. That could make a lot of sense, because then it kind of works with the idea of like how when you're looking through a magnifying glass, it magnifies the image of your eye to the person looking through the other side. Yeah, exactly. Okay, yeah. No, I get what you mean. That makes a lot of sense. Thank you for that. Yeah, so that's all fine. Yeah, so Uman believes in that. That's fine. Now we just need a name for this charitable missionary. I almost kind of want to go with like the blind. I almost want to go with like the blind hand or something like that, but I feel like that might be poor taste because I don't think he would name it after his own sight. Like to name it after Umam's like bad vision because of his cataract. Maybe like the... Oh, I'm trying to think. Oh, what's like a word I'm thinking of? Maybe like the... I'm now wondering if is there like phrases from Hieronius's like particular phrasing? The Arch Paladin, the Invincible, the Valorous Knight. His symbol is the Thunderbolt, which is another interesting thing to use. Chivalry, Justice, Honor, War, Daring, and Valor. That's actually another interesting idea, the fact that they are like more of a military force, but not one that would be potentially out for war. Now it actually makes me think the farm mission could literally just be go destroy Necromancer. I'm just going to put a blank here and just say Necromancer, and we'll chase back up what that's going to be. I'm always kind of like wanting to call it like the Golden Grain. But we already have a Gilded Rope here. I want something grain. What's like a nice descriptive word for grain that would make sense? Golden grain, blessed grain, sacred grain. I don't want to say enlightened grain. That actually kind of sounds a little bit dumb. How does grain become enlightened? It doesn't even have a sense of being. It's so hard to think. The golden grain sounds so good though. But again, it's like, then I'd have to change the name of the Gilded Rope. Oh, welcome back, Steph. I guess you can help out with this one. We need a good name for these charitable missionaries. They're basically the equivalent of like the Salvation Army in this world. I'm trying to think of a name because I don't want to go with Golden Grain, but it like seems like the best one to fit. But if I do make it Golden Grain, I don't want it. I then have to change the name of the Relic Collectors to something else because I don't want 2 gold references within the name. Just trying to think, like maybe like Golden Grain, and then I don't know. The Bright Rope? No, that sounds tacky. Bright Rope, Luminescent Rope, Shining Rope, Golden Hearts. Ooh, yeah. Again, it's like, yeah, I think maybe it is better if we just go Golden Grain. I think Golden Grain's probably going to work better there, and then we just need to find a new name for the Gilded Rope because the Threaded Rope. I mean, yeah, that could work in Abba. The Threaded Rope. I mean, technically, that's what ropes are that's normally done with ropes, but I guess like, it could be an interesting idea because it also carries that idea of like the rope thread. Steph seems keen on it. Okay, yeah, I'm tempted to go with the threaded rope. Like, I think that could work because I guess it also works with the idea of like the perfectionist nature of the Vedalken. So, yeah, I could go with the threaded rope as being, yeah, or even like the threaded knot, chain of threads. Ooh, okay. I'm going to say threaded chains then. let's go threaded chains then. I think that's an interesting idea. Because that also, again, works with the idea of like you're locking down the relics. So yeah, let's go threaded chains. I think that will work better for that guild. All right. We have enough time to make the last one for Astronim. I didn't think it was honestly going to take this long to make them all for one city, but then again, I'm like, no, this is about how long it took when I made them the first time, so I guess I completely underestimated what we were going to do. Okay, so final one's the Crafts Guild, which is going to be heavily stonemasons because it's dwarves. Astronim is built on dwarves. Yeah. Alright, yep, so let's see. Definitely led by a dwarf. I'm going to say probably more of a... probably like a chaotic good. Female dwarf. Named, we'll come up with a name later. Who originally designed... or sorry, whose clan originally designed the stone towers that are shown in the city, I think. Yeah, the intricately carved stone towers. Whose clan originally designed the stone towers that define Astronim. Like, I want it to be something that's definitely got a long lineage and are heavily devoted to their craft. Which also means we need to hop to the guild section for this. Yeah, pools of resources and influence ensure a steady exchange of gold for its crafts, which is the key part. Definitely a very skilled path. I think in terms... oh god, really? A golem guide? Oh, that's so tempting. Her late grandfather designed? Yeah, they're dwarves. It's definitely long enough. Whose late grandfather... yeah, I do like that idea. Definitely being more specific about a specific individual rather than just the clan. I think I agree with that, Nappa. I think that's a better idea. Okay, so with that, the guild owns a luxurious no, not a stone hall. Maybe like a... ooh, actually no, it would be like a stone hall. A luxurious hall built from polished granite. Actually no, polished slate. They wouldn't go for something too flashy. Well, from polished slate and commonly uses golems as messengers. Maybe not. We can say that for the method of invitation. Although, let me remember how being amber encrusted. Ooh, I like that idea. With like amber decorations hanging off bronze hooks. Yeah, let me just remember how big a stone golem is before we do anything too crazy. Because if stone golems are like too big, then we're going to have a problem. I also definitely misspelled that. Great. Golem. What do we got? Where's the stone golems? There they are. They are large. You could arguably say that they could be small. You could arguably make a small golem. Yeah, maybe like a small stone golem appears on the windowsill. No. Appears at the door of the player's residence. And relays the following message. Family trait makes smaller drone golems. Yeah, that could actually be true. Yeah, that could be an interesting idea, Nappa, to have it be like a craft specific to that dwarven clan, so that it's something tied to their lineage and not something easily what's it called? Unattributed from them. But yeah. Yeah, okay, so small stone golem appears at the door, lays the following message. We should also figure out who they're contacting. I think they contact stone workers and other tinkerer style characters. Because technically they wouldn't just be specifically about golems. They would definitely have the ability to house other, like contacts, craftsmen, and tinkerer style characters. Definitely. I'm trying to think what the message is going to be, because it would have to be something simple with like a reworked version of Animal Messenger, maybe. Use the following message in blank's voice. Your talents could make this city flourish more than you would know. Make the city flourish more than you would ever think. Come to the blank guild hall tomorrow at midday. And tell them you're here to see blank. Rework of Thieves' Cant language? Only the intended receiver of the message can read it. Ooh, okay. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe even like something where... Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting idea, but I'm half thinking, what if it was something a little bit stranger, or maybe something a little bit more miraculous? Like maybe what if the stone golems had like some level of like transmutation that allowed them to basically transform themselves into like a stone tablet with the invitation written on it, maybe? I kind of like that idea. And transmutes into a to a stone tablet with the following message carved onto it. Like a 3D printer, almost. Yeah, kind of like that. They are the polymer. Yes, the stone is the polymer. But to be fair, there are actually like some types of 3D printers that are able to print things like stone and metal, but they are very high tech. Oh yeah, I'm getting to your stretch, Steph. Just a second. Oh, there we go. Oh yep, there goes one of the shoulders. Oh, and there's the other. Perfect. Thank you for that, Steph. Really appreciate that. All right. Ooh, just arrived. Setting with technomancy. Yes, I thought we are working with this. We are definitely working in a setting of technomancy, as I do love kind of almost combining the ideas of fantasy with a little bit of kind of steampunkish vibes. So yes, we are working with the same with technomancy. Also, how are you doing, by the way? You were just in time to potentially have your own input on the creation of a crafters guild for our little religious town. But yes. Okay, so we got the stone golem. I think that stone golem idea should be fine. Okay, what's going to be the ideals of a crafters guild like this? Like, what would be... Like, because again, I don't want to give it like the generic intent of like, oh, we're just keeping the... we're just keeping the brain will kick in. We're keeping the craft alive. That seems way too generic. Like, what would be like the bigger motivation for just a crafters guild in general? Would it be to promote just promote the work, or like scout out potential for something bigger, but perhaps? Yeah, like maybe they're a believer in the... Very good. Just helped out a friend's playtest recently, although they were reaching the level where my warlock is starting to scare my party members. Dance Macabre is an interesting technique. Oh, yep. Okay, I can definitely see where people are starting to get a little worried, because Dance Macabre is a very interesting spell and can be quite dangerous. So I can kind of see why your party's a little scared of the warlock. To be fair, every time I've kind of run a warlock, my party's usually a little bit wary of them as well. Like, especially, I think, what was it when I ran what's his name, Silanus, because he had like, his main thing was he had like a lot of ice spells, and a lot of his like evocations were distinctly tied towards either like were mainly tied towards illusions, because he was Archfey. He was an Archfey pact. He was an interesting build, and I definitely want to try rerunning him again, because he was a fighter warlock multi-class that I felt could work if I gave it if he had survived long enough. When I hit level 10, suddenly my melee build has become very viable. Now I thwack everything with magic cudgels. Beautiful. You just grab the nearest hammer. Well, you're mine, and you will hit everything. No one is safe. You just become the arcane version of Torbjorn from Overwatch. Just swinging with the hammer. He wants to I'm gonna go with something a little bit more lofty, maybe, in terms of ideals. Anything I can contribute to the write-up? I mean, if you've got anything for like guild factions, I'm happy to like throw them in there. Like if you've got ideas for like, you know, guild missions, if you have ideas for like potential encounters and plot points based on what we have. We have a lot of the towns to find. We have a villain which is looking to be an aboleth. We have we have a map kind of figured out with a lot of natural structures planned out. So anything you feel like contributing, you are more than welcome to. There is no pressure to, however. It's up to you. I'm trying to think. What's like an ancient craft that someone would be very interested in returning? Like you can't say that golem creation is an ancient craft. Like what's a craft that would have been lost in a D&D world and then wanted to be brought back? Like I don't want to say like glass blowing. Maybe this is just something that's like just not going to work. Maybe something to do with runes? Like, yeah, like maybe some type of rune scribing, potentially. Yeah, like they want to revive the ancient craft, but those who try to learn it are turned away by something. Like I don't know what would have turned them away. I don't know. This feels like one of the weaker ideals for a faction, but I'm like, there's definitely a way you can make it work. I just wish I knew how you could make it work. Because rune scribing technically isn't like ancient if you're following it by like how runes are normally used in D&D, but like if you're using them in the way that Nordic runes are used, where you know they're attributed to an element, they are based on a level of like sacrifice, then maybe it could work. Oh, it feels so wishy-washy, this description. I'm trying to think how I can make it more specific and more distinctive. I guess in the meantime, we'll just come up with some missions. Just see if we can figure out some good guild missions. I mean, the obvious one is secure a what's it called, a granite mine, secure a mine shaft that, yeah, you don't normally just have like, I guess it'd be a granite quarry. Yeah, it's granite quarry. Offhand, I recall that in old D&D, magic items were considered powered by Dwemer rather than magic, to explain why passive effects weren't lost by dispel magic. Maybe the Crafters Guild is the Dwemer Fabricata. I have never heard of that, Thorf. Okay, you know what? Let's take a look into this. I'm curious. Dwemer. Let's see. What do we know about Dwemer? Dwemer D&D. Help to have that distinction. Let's have a look. Oh, it's tied to Norse mythology. That'll be an interesting thing to check later too. Aura of magic, especially that to which enchanted items radiate. Okay, interesting. I want to see what that's like in Norse mythology, but let's also see how it looks in the wiki. There's probably a better description. Magical aura on enchant. Oh, freak, can you get out of the way? Dwemer is magical aura in an enchanted item. More broadly, it may refer to the aura of a spell having been cast whose duration remains active. Old English word meaning witchcraft, derived from the Old Norse term. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Literally meaning dwarf talk. Going to the secret knowledge of magic among the original Norse dwarves. Okay. I'm definitely liking the way this route is going. Like, this definitely feels like the kind of thing that could actually be more stated. So Dwemer Fabricata. I'm wondering if that's something that's been created before. No. Oh, now I'm actually really... I kind of like this idea. I kind of really like this idea, Thorf. I think we go for it. Because that actually sounds really cool. Okay, I'm gonna look at this. Where is the mention of Dwemer in this? Dwemer. Wait, it's a redirect. Oh, are you kidding me? It just goes straight to dwarves. God, that feels so empty. God dang it! I wanted to know more about that. All right, I think let's go. I think let's go with it. And I'm actually going to work with that name. Yeah, Dwemer Fabricata. I really like that name. That's probably like one of the more unique names or more distinct names I've heard for a guild. I really like that, Thoth. That is so well thought out. Yeah, okay, so yeah, because Dwemer seems to be tied directly to dwarves, which makes sense. Yeah, but those who try to learn it, since it translates to dwarf talk, I assume it's nebulous term for the magic dwarves weave into their items, e.g. Mjolnir or Gullinbursti. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Because yeah, I do remember it's like the dwarves were the ones who were able to, craft a lot of the, like, some of the most famous Norse weapons. And I feel like they had at least some level of proficiency with runes that even the gods were, like, surprised by. I don't remember if that's actually true, because again, my skill set's not with Norse mythology, it's with Greco-Roman mythology. But it does make me want to read more into Norse mythology just to understand it more, because I do love me some good mythos. Yeah, okay, we'll go with the idea of Dwemer. Those who try to learn it are turned away due to maybe like moral implications. Like, I could see how a perpetually active magical effect can be considered, kind of questionable. Don't know about runes, but in 5e they're most associated with giant kind, with dwarves in various settings having learned it during an age of enslavement by the giants. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because, granted, there is potential to use giants in this too. But yeah, I kind of like the idea of where we were going with the Dwemer thing. So let's go with the Dwemer first, and we can flesh it out more later. I'm just going to call this the Dwemer Guild Hall. We'll figure out a name in a second. Yeah, so securing a granite quarry that was overrun by, not sure yet, some type of Underdark thing. Creatures. Actually, no, better idea. One of my favorite types of like evil fae, meanlocks. That could be a good mission, especially early, because meanlocks aren't that strong. So that could work well. Granite Quarry that was overrun by meanlocks. Highly contributing names. Let me know of any other blanks in naming guilds or factions. I will definitely let you know. Because for now, it's... I think the only one that we have in terms of like blanks for names is like the temple across the way, which is, if I go to my map here for a second. So we got like this temple here that that's connected by like a sandy atoll that originally was going to be based on the tides, but I'm kind of thinking might have to be more based on something else, like some other type of phenomena, because this distance is about 4.5 days travel according to my usual scale. So, but yeah, I'm trying to think like what the name of this temple should be and what it should be dedicated to, because again, I think it could have a good plot point. I don't know yet what the plot point would be, but any like interesting name like that could be good. Cause and one that's like not too obvious. Cause like I know I can pull some stuff from Latin, but there's nothing that I can think of specifically with Latin that could work directly. Okay. Granite Quarry. Again, they could probably have escort missions. Escort a guild, a stonemason to Slanton. Temple of Snacks. Wait, I think I'm just hungry. I mean, that's fair, Steph. Deep down, we're all currently hungry. God knows I am right now. And I'm like, it's 11 p.m. I've had such a nice dinner. How am I already hungry again? Ecliptic Spire stands in the middle of the desert close to the equator, where hermit astronomers study the constellations and movements of the moon to divine the future. They're funded by the various warlords and kings who traverse the desert to learn their findings. Interesting. I do like that idea, Thoth. Yeah, maybe. Oh, actually. Oh. I have an idea. Because I like the idea of the moon, like studying the constellations and stuff of the moon. So maybe, just maybe, that's it. Yeah, I know perfectly what we'll do with it. We'll make it a temple to Celestian. We'll make it, yeah, well, maybe not a temple. Maybe we'll make it like an observatory or some type of spire. Ooh. Steph is keen on this. Okay, I think I have an idea. Okay, so an ancient spire to Celestian. I think Celestian's probably the better one to pick. I'm also glad Wizards of the Coast declared the Moon subclass will be finished soon. At least it's considered past the unearthed phase. Oh, Moon Sorcerer. Wait, ayo, really? I'm kind of keen on that, because freaking a Moon Sorcerer would be so cool, considering we already have so many like unique sorcerer types, and I was always thinking a moon one would be fantastic, or even anything to do with the astral plane, because I had like a idea for a sorcerer subclass that was going to be referred to as, oh god, I don't remember the exact name, but it was essentially going to be a type of astral hybrid style subclass where essentially your power came from like resonant energies within the astral plane, and so it would give you the ability to like create stars and stuff. And I was even going to make like spells where like you make particular constellations and it gives you different effects. The latest Crinue was revised to remove the moon subclass. Usually this would mean it's been dropped, but their notes prove that its popularity means it no longer needs to be play tested. Ah, interesting. I might need to keep an eye out for that, because I haven't kept up with Unearthed Arcana for a while, but I would definitely look into that, because I do want to read like what the setup of the moon subclass was, and see like how it will potentially work, or like what its features were. Okay, okay, so we know this is Celestia now. Okay. So we're collecting, store exclamation to Slanton to negotiate Negotiate the sale of his latest sculpture. What else would you have like adventurer types do? I'm like racking my brain thinking what else. I should actually check the some of the other ones. Yeah, delivering goods. That's kind of what we already have. Acquire materials, limited rival, masterpiece, exquisite work of art. Cast to create or acquire something wondrous, or the bill comes due. I'm kind of thinking it could be interesting to. I kind of think, well, would there be a debt to Dwemer? Maybe like some type of like weird magical cost based on something else outside of it? Darker Assassins or Thieves Guild type faction, where adventurers are recruited from underhanded objectives beyond the bounds of the law. I mean, we kind of already have that idea kind of bubbling away with the villain idea, because to kind of catch you up on what the idea of the villain is, Thoth, basically the main villain is a rogue mastermind who has been possessed by or enslaved by an Aboleth soul that's trying to basically build itself a robot body to house its soul and then attempt to destroy the gods. And so we already kind of have this idea that there is going to be a serious like guild type faction basically working its way through every area, including a division in Astronim. But I think it is definitely an idea to keep in mind, and one that I do want to look at, considering we also have we have like a guild called like the Silvered Palms, which basically can make like replica items or make items like disappear and completely untraceable. So again, something that can definitely be leaned into more in like another city, I think. Otherworldly cost based on the knowledge of Dwemer. Yeah, not sure yet what that detail is going to be for that mission, but I think that could be an interesting one where it's like, you know, they get enough trust with that dwarf artisan to get her to disclose that. Like, she has enough faith in the pie that she's like, I am prepared to tell you of this, but you have to keep it secret and you have to help me. I guess the other one would be to try and acquire some like other kind of precious materials. The other one I could think of is recover a specialized, maybe recover like a specially crafted tool that was stolen by a rogues guild. And this can be the one that's operated by Zrag the Boar. Yeah, because then again that ties back to the villain role, which also works well with this. Like, they're starting to make like big plays. Like, they'd want a relic, they'd want a specialized tool, which makes sense because they're trying to craft, a mechanical body for an Aboleth. So yeah, that can definitely work. The otherworldly cost we'll figure out later. I think the last thing we need to figure out now is just. Thank you for the follow, Bluefees. I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. Yes, I very much. But yes, thank you for the follow. I do appreciate that. Welcome to my small corner of the internet. Hope you enjoy your stay. But I think for now, we just need to figure out the main name. We can kind of chase up a lot of these later. Like there's a few of them that we do need to get to, but again, that's going to come down to names that we create later on when we get to actually fleshing out the town details a bit more. We do need to name this aesthetic. I do remember that. So maybe we'll go with something like, what is it? I can probably just come up with a random name. Forel. Yeah, maybe just Forella. Forella should work. And then we'll just quickly go to this name generator, help us out a bit with... Oh, it's already set to dwarves. Makes our life easier. Britness. I don't like that one too much. If I change it to Brintus, then maybe it's a bit more manageable. Yeah, let's go with that. So what is it? Brintus. What was it? It was like first something, wasn't it? Yeah, first guard. Which I guess is like, kind of ties Brinwas? Brinwas could be good, yeah. Yeah, maybe like drop the T, make it something a bit slower, like Brinwas. Yeah, I like that. That rolls better off the tongue. Thank you for that, Thoth. Perfect. All right. Tell them it's cold for you. Okay, perfect. I think that's a good start for saying out the... I think that's going to be a good start for saying out the factions in Astronim. We can chase up details later again, like I said, when we go to working out the finer details of the towns, but overall, we've done well. We've set up 4 fairly solid factions for Astronim. So I think we've done quite well for ourselves tonight. So I think with that we'll call it there, just because I have work in the morning. So you mentioned a Temple of Celestian. Is it a patchwork pantheon? Sort of. When I run my campaigns, I normally stick kind of exclusively to Greyhawk and the non-human deities, because it's like, you know, I get that in Greyhawk it's just that specific pantheon, but I'm also like, you know, if you're running all these races, you kind of have to have the non-human deities in there too. So I run both. Yeah, so I run both Greyhawk and non-human deities, but I also allow for people to be like, I want to run this particular deity. Can we make it work? And I always try to allow it to make it work. I'm someone who tries to avoid like outright saying no to a player over certain things. Like I'm like, you know, if they bring up an idea, I will be like, well, let's not make it a yes or no thing. Let's make it a how about we discuss it and we can try to make it work. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. If it does, it does, sort of thing. So yeah, it is very much a patchwork pantheon in that sense. But yes. All right. Okay, so I think with that we'll call it there. Probably next time I think we'll probably keep going with factions, because we're kind of on a roll with those. So we'll probably next time we'll do them for Coronidry, which is probably going to have more factions. I'm thinking we'll probably have 6 or 7. And then we're also going to need to make them for the 3 noble towns, which are probably going to have I'm going to say like maybe 2 unique factions for the towns, and then 3 that are spread across the entire empire. But yes, with that, thank you all for coming. You've been a very wonderful audience tonight. To those of you watching the VOD either on Twitch or on YouTube, thank you for your time. I really do appreciate that. Special thank yous, of course, go out to Napa, to Steph. Where Rain's kicking in. Astro, Pixie, Snow, and of course the ever lovely Eye of Thoth for hopping into chat, and Steph. Can't forget Steph. But all for popping into chat and making this a fun time. See ya, Jay. See ya, Napa. We'll talk on Friday. Good stream. Thank you, Steph. Thank you. But with that, let's actually look to raid out. Let's see who's online and doing stuff. Let's actually move to ending panel first. So we'll cut the music there and we'll go to ending panel while I take a look for a suitable lead targeto. Right. What are we thinking for... Well, let's actually see who's online first. Lightheart's online, Juan's online, Rolla's online. It's been a while since we've raided Juan. The problem is also I want to try and I don't want to always be raiding the same people. So let's just go to just see some browsing and see who we want to find. What are people keen? I'm working on my stream stuff. Hell yeah, Napa. Hop back on the grind. Let's have some fun. Let's have some fun doing stuff together. Because heck, I know you and I are probably keen to do some collab stuff, and I'm down for it because I love doing collab stuff. Let's see. Aussie. Actually, we normally do Aussies. Is there a New Zealand tag? There's gotta be a New Zealand tag. Yeah, there is. Yeah, let's go support some New Zealanders. By the way, the exit music is a bit loud. Okay, I'll adjust that a bit. Let's knock that down a couple of decibels. There we go. Hopefully that's a bit better. That should hopefully fix that up. Let's see. Who's busy on the New Zealand streams? Someone's playing Siren. I'm seeing Factorio. Animals, aquariums, and zoos I've never heard of. Haylet Page, the Master Chief Collection. A lot of different options. And I'm kind of curious. I'm not seeing great options. Alright, let's just go raid Juan. Yeah, let's go raid Juan. Juan's a good lad. I like his stuff. Right, everyone hop on the raid train. Let's go. Let's all go show Juan some beautiful love. Juan is a he's also an Aussie VTuber, similar to myself, and he does a lot of fun things. It looks like he's doing some Elden Ring at the moment, which is always a good time. So yeah, we'll see what he's up to. But yes, with that, once again, thank you all for coming. I wish you all a wonderful evening or a lovely start to your day. Good night, and raid out.